Welcome to PolkaWorld Interview. This is Kristen. In this episode, we're going to talk about decentralized storage. It's honored for us to have the Ludwig from Crust to be here with us today. Firstly, could you brief us on the background of yourself and Crust a little bit?
Sure. My name is Ludwig. I'm the business development lead of Crust Network. I am with Crust Network for over 1.5, almost 2 years now officially. Before that, I was working in the Web2 industry. So I was involved also with cloud computing, software as a service in specific. So Web3 was the next logical step for me. And with Crust, obviously operating in the cloud service industry, that's something I'm very familiar with. And so that was just a logical step for me. Crust Network itself is a project that was founded already a couple of years back, so 2018. We are overall, I would say, 25 persons strong in our core team. And we're building in the PolkaWorld ecosystem, and we are providing decentralized cloud storage solutions.
Amazing. Decentralized solutions, and we say decentralized storage is not a new term, as it has been available in Web2 space for a long time. And many talented people have brought it into the Web3 space. Crust is one of them. So our first topic is what exactly is decentralized storage, and what makes the Web3 storage different from Web2? That is, why the internet or our daily life needs that?
Yeah, very good question. And this also brings us back to the basic of our motivations, why we actually started this project. But let me answer your first question, like what is decentralized storage? So in a very broad way, the concept of decentralized storage means that your data is not stored in one single point or on one single server, like, for example, how it is the case when you use AWS or when you use Dropbox, but rather your data is distributed over a network of many different servers or nodes. Also, the data you upload to a decentralized storage network is not owned by the provider, but it's owned by the user. And when we talk about why we need that, then this is basically the essence of Web3, because we always say, okay, Web 1 was, okay, we could read, Web 2 was we can write and read, and Web 3 is supposed to be we can write, we can read, and we can own. And when we're talking about the web, then obviously everything we're dealing with is kind of data related. And if this data is stored on a centralized infrastructure, then I don't really own this data. And to own this data and to monetize this data, to sell it to institutions instead of the institutions selling it to other people without your awareness or even with your agreement due to the terms of service, that's something Crust Network is avoiding, and Crust Network is offering solutions for Web3 users to really own their data, to have it censorship resistant, because as you maybe know, we saw Twitter accounts getting censored, we saw YouTube accounts getting censored, and all of this can't happen in or shouldn't happen in Web3, where the user is in charge and in full ownership of its data. And with Crust Network, we provide the services, so full ownership with like a really high privacy, censorship resistance. And all of this is very needed in like in the Web3 world, especially when you want to transfer your data and to move your data. And if you really want to fulfill the vision of Web3, then it doesn't go without decentralized storage, because the infrastructure is still very centralized. We see Amazon Web Services, Alibaba Cloud, Google Cloud. Those are the major players that hold, I would say, almost 80% of all data in the world. And having those few centralized institutions being in control of our data, that's something we really want to avoid in Web3. And that's why we need Crust Network and decentralized storage in general.
Yeah, the ownership of data. So what do you think, what keeps Web3 storage from mass adoption nowadays?
Yeah, a good point. I think a large point is definitely the awareness. So I feel like still many users or even developers and builders in the space are not really aware yet of the full issue of building on a centralized infrastructure or having your data stored on a centralized infrastructure. But with the recent headlines which we saw where user data got compromised, where login data got leaked, and sometimes I think 2016 we had a large Dropbox leak where over 60 million user passwords and emails were exposed and leaked. And yeah, so those events help us definitely to raise awareness in the field, but we still have to do a lot of education. Like your first question, why we need decentralized storage in first way, and what are the values decentralized storage solution can provide over Web2 solutions, and also the security that results out of it. And yeah, I think education is a very important point, and also then the ease of use of actual storage applications. And that was quite difficult in the past to actually integrate with decentralized storage solution to make it usable. But with Crust Network, we, for example, focus on a really high interoperability to make it as easy as possible for developers to directly integrate with our solutions. We provide a lot of documentation, we provide YouTube tutorials, we provide APIs, SDKs, and many different guides how to use it. But we also build, for example, very simple to use showcase applications like a decentralized Dropbox. You can check it out under crustfiles.io. And this is basically, yeah, a small user application where we can show how easy decentralized storage actually can be. And yeah, so I would say those three major points are maybe still hindering mass adoption, which is awareness, education, and ease of use. And yeah, we are working on all three of them.
The web of tomorrow needs decentralized storage today. However, today we got IPFS, Airwave, and Crust available to use. Why shall users choose Crust out of IPFS, Airwave?
Very good question. First of all, I think I should describe or explain the relationship between Crust and IPFS. So IPFS is probably the most used and adopted decentralized storage protocol in Web3. But IPFS on its own is not enough when we talk about Web3 permanent storage. IPFS is good in a way that it's a peer-to-peer network with a decentralized storage protocol, but it's not incentivized, which means that if you want to upload your data to IPFS, then you can do that. You can do that totally for free, but you have no control about how many replications do exist in the network. So how many nodes will actually store your data of all the entire network. And you also have no control about for how long they will store the data, because they don't get any rewards. They don't have any incentives to actually hold on for your data. So you don't have any guarantees. And Crust Network is basically not different to IPFS, but it's on top of IPFS. So Crust provides a service and incentive layer to actually guarantee you the persistence of your data in the network over a specific time you want to. Because when you create a storage order on Crust Network, you say, I want to store this specific data for, let's say, 10 years. And then you, via smart contract, the node operator agree that they will store this data for the specific time. And the user pays a small fee to the storage provider to execute this service. And all of this is executed and recorded on chain. And so the user who actually uploads the data has full guarantee that their data will stay in the network, that our nodes who join our network will store this data for the agreed period of time. And yeah, that's what basically is a service layer on top of IPFS. Then you also mentioned Arweave. Arweave is different to Crust in a way that Arweave is permanent on-chain storage, and Crust is on-demand off-chain storage. So on-chain storage is very expensive. It's also not as fast and doesn't have a high performance. And but it offers, let's say, maybe other benefits to the users. But in general, it's only suitable. Arweave is only suitable for a very small range of data sets because it's permanent storage, and not everybody wants this data to be stored for 200 years or wants to pay upfront to store his data 200 years. And with Crust Network, you have full flexibility. You, for example, can say, I want to store my data for 6 months, I want to store it for 50 years, or you can also decide, I want to store my data also for 200 years. So Crust offers this flexibility, which Arweave, for example, doesn't.
Amazing. What's the best use cases for nowadays? And let's run our imagination wide to explore a little bit. What's it going to be like in the future?
Yeah. let's talk about use cases. So I would say the most popular use cases on our end at the moment are the hosting of decentralized applications or websites. So basically, when you visit any DeFi applications, the front end has to be stored somewhere. And Crust Network provides solutions for that, to store the front end of decentralized applications or websites in a truly decentralized way, to keep it always accessible, and also to reduce any kind of exposure to security breaches like DNS hijack attacks and so on. And we also are working with really big names already for that specific use case. So Uniswap or Abi, they're, for example, using Crust Network. And when you visit Uniswap, their homepage, then at the front end you see is actually stored on Crust Network. So that's a really big use case. Then we also are very popular for NFT metadata storage. So probably a lot of people are not aware that when we talk about NFTs, we have two different parts. On one hand, we have the token itself that guarantees you the ownership, that makes it transferable, which runs on the chain. And on the other hand, you have the actual data of the NFT, which is the PNG file, which is the characteristics and the traits of your NFT, which is maybe the audio file or the video file or whatever it might be. And this data has to be stored somewhere. Unfortunately, many NFT projects still choose to store their data on a centralized solution provider like AWS. But the issue is that, again, this NFT could be censored. This is not immutable. And also the link, which is written in the smart contract, can break, which links to AWS. And we don't want our, I don't know, NFT that's maybe worth 5 digits to point to a dead link and a very expensive 404 error page, or we don't want it to be censored by Amazon or Google Cloud because they think, oh no, this NFT is not appropriate anymore. And we can basically store those NFT metadata totally immutable, with full ownership of the creator in our network, and to always keep it accessible. Then the next use case is probably everything social-fi and gamify related. So all of those applications deal with a lot of data. If it's in game itself, game assets or metaverse assets, or social-fi when we're talking about media data like videos, like other content, pictures, user data itself, all of this can be stored fully decentralized, out of the reach of centralized institutions that maybe could exploit our data. And basically everything that comes to general file storage as well. We work with different kind of projects to store machine data, to store backups for messenger applications, and also, like, for example, the decentralized Dropbox application I mentioned earlier, where you can just drag and drop your files like you're used to from Dropbox and store it totally decentralized. For the future, I think all of those use cases will just will get bigger and bigger. On top of that, obviously, there will be more new use cases, especially when we're looking into Web3, when we're looking into Metaverse. There's still a lot of unwalked path, and we will offer many different kind of solutions in the future as well. And we're also working on some really exciting stuff, which will be released probably still this month. So watch out, there's still a lot to come.
Yes. What unique features the substrate framework or Polkadot allows Crust to enable, which are not available in other storage protocols?
Mm-hmm. So we chose the substrate framework, which basically is the Polkadot's framework, for many different reasons. For example, one reason is obviously the high interoperability within the Polkadot ecosystem. So we have, for example, features like cross-chain messaging that enables all parachain or ecosystem projects to communicate very easily, fully decentralized in a seamless way via different kind of developer tools, via different palettes. All of this is provided by the substrate framework. And recently we also won the Polkadot parachain slot for Crust Network, since we already are online on the Kusama network for quite a while. Now we have it also on Polkadot, and this will obviously help us to connect even stronger with Polkadot related ecosystems. But we also saw that many other projects are building on the substrate framework, which don't necessarily are parachains or others, and all of those can actually use our services. And I think Crust Network, our file storage solution, is also already integrated in every substrate explorer. So all substrate projects can basically access Crust storage directly via their application, their Explorer application. And yeah, also when we're looking about a token utility, so our CRU token, we can, for example, now move to other parachains, use it in DeFi protocols as collateral to provide liquidity and so on. All of this will be made easier through the substrate framework, and especially by being a parachain.
Wonderful. Crust was written in the wiki of Ethereum, Polygon, and Polkadot. That's a great achievement. How do you achieve all of that? Could you detail us for what technology achievement?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks. It is a great achievement indeed. But why are we listed? So first of all, yeah, as you mentioned, we are listed in the Ethereum documentation, in the official Polygon documentation, and also in many others, like for example, the NEAR ecosystem, you will find us there too, and so on. Overall, I think we have to say that there are, compared to other maybe technologies, there are not too many projects that focus on decentralized storage. That's one thing, and the other thing is there are not many projects that are truly decentralized and also offer this really high degree of interoperability. So which brings us back to one of the hindrances, which is ease of use. And yeah, with Crust Network, we can make it really easy for people to use our storage services from other chains because of the high interoperability of our technology. So we can deploy smart contracts to any kind of ecosystem in a totally native way, and users can call those storage functionalities via their native smart contract, which yeah, is communicating with Crust Network itself. And next to that, we also have a really good reputation with those different ecosystems. For example, Ethereum, because we already are working with large players like Uniswap, with Arweave, and all of those industry leaders are using Crust Network. And they don't use us by accident, let's say it this way. So they know where the value for Crust Network is. And we have although we are not as popular maybe as other services, we still have a very high reputation for the quality of our services and for the value we are providing for projects that are working with us. And yeah, also in Polygon, for example, we organize different events with them. In April, we had a huge hackathon in India where we sponsored an event with Polygon together, where 400 developers joined in like an offline event. And we're also working on other kind of issues very closely with those major projects. And that's why we have a really good reputation. They know the quality of our work, of our protocol. And they also know that with Crust Network, developers have it as easy as possible to actually integrate with decentralized storage. And because those protocols are also interested into achieving the highest degree of decentralization possible, they want their developers to actually use decentralized storage services and provide it via their documentation. Yeah.
Crust secured the 13th Polkadot parachain slot recently. Any roadmap to share? The layouts for new product, plans in bear market, etc.
Yeah, so regardless of the market situation, we continuously work very hard to produce technical outcome, to produce new partnerships, new products, etc. And yeah, obviously with the parachain, with our parachain slot, there are many different activities we can work on. For example, like I said, getting more utility for our token, more accessibility of our token in the Polkadot network. But we also have other items on our roadmap, technical items. For example, we want to focus very strongly on data indexing. So on IPFS, it's still not as easy, but we are working on different kind of solutions. But also we are working on encryption. So we want to implement zero knowledge-based data sharing, different authorization technologies, digital identities. All of this is something we are working on. But we are also working on different other products and services. For example, Crust NFT is something we're working on, which will be an all-in-one solution for artists and creators to manage their entire NFT value chain, from creation over deployment to distribution. And we also work on other cool products. At the moment, we're working on one specific product. I don't want to tell too much. I don't want to spoil it, but this will revolutionize the game in the storage industry quite hard. And we're looking very forward to launch this specific product. But yeah, maybe you want to check in 2 to 3 weeks when we have it released.
Yes, let's stay tight on or the announcement released. Recently, Crust has opened several offline activities in the US and Europe. Why and what's the layout?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Since this year, we have we reached out to, let's say, other communities, because our project was before mostly Asia focused. But yeah, we try to reach out to other markets, more to the European market. I myself, I'm based in Germany. We have a partner in North America, and we are joining a lot of different offline events because we feel that's that's actually a very good way to create relations, to talk to other projects, to form partnerships, and also to educate the Web3 space about what decentralized storage can offer and what we can do about that in specific. Yeah, we attended this year, I think, I don't know how many different offline events, but the consensus in Austin, the New York NFT, the New York Mainnet recently, LA Tech Week, San Francisco Blockchain Week. I myself was, I think, in Paris for 2 different events this year. I was in Berlin a couple of times recently for the Polkadot Polkadot Decoded in June, but also for the Berlin Blockchain Week just in September, beginning of September. And yeah, we not just participate, we also sponsor those events. We hold keynote speeches, we take part in panel discussions, and yeah, just to create more awareness about decentralized storage and to broaden our audience from Asia to also the rest of the world.
Oh, amazing. And as our interview drawing to the end, anything you would like to add or remark?
Well, I just can tell everybody, I highly recommend everybody to just try out decentralized storage. Probably the easiest way to do so is crustfiles.io. You can just visit it. You can, if you have like a Web3 wallet, like a MetaMask or Trust wallet, or also we recently, for example, just connected with Aptos ecosystem, Martian wallet. So if you have any of those wallets, you can just log in via Web3 authentication processes, like you would log into a DeFi application, and you can easily upload your data to our solution and application, just to play around a little bit and to see how easy it actually is to utilize Crust Network. Yeah, that's what I would recommend everybody.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for your time, and make everything a great success. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Kristen, for the interview. I had a good time, and let's repeat that at some other day.